Hello everyone. So in this video I am going to share with you the really basics of MVVM architecture. So we have a series of Let's Learn. So today we will learn about MVVM architecture. So we have already created a project in Xcode 15 and we are using Swift programming language and let's start. So here is we have our already created view controller in which we will use the structure and architecture of MVVM. So let's begin with its basics, like if we use ChatGPT and if we know about its definitions and descriptions. So let's take a look that MVVM is basically stands for model view model. So model is as it is previously used. View is the display and UI of the view, and view model is the new thing which added in the architectural world. Like previously it was MVC, it was model view controller, and view model replaced with controller. So what is model? You already familiar with that. Also you are familiar with the view, but that's the new thing which is view model, and that is actually a part of MVVM. So what is basically view model? View model is an intermediary between the view and the model. So basically, according to definition, it retrieves data from the model and formats it or display in the view. So the model view also handles user inputs, updating the model as necessary. So I hope that you will understand the basics definition of a view model, but let's take a look at the practical example of it. So here we have view controller. We are using table view controller of the data of employee, and in the did load we have used a method where we will initialize our view model and also the bindings. So let's take a look at this groups. So we have controllers, a common of obviously scene delegate and app delegate. We have models which already you are familiar with, and we have web service. Web service is basically using for retrieving data. It can anything like LMFI or anything, and that is the stable view cell, which is only to display the information which will retrieve. And the most important part of the project is this class employee view model. So what we are doing in that class, we are basically uh, uh, working all the things, processing all the things, all the logics, all the working examples in that class. And how we are doing that, let's take a look. Like this is the NS object class, in which in the initial method we are initializing the app service. App service is a that web service class. We are initializing that, and after that we are calling the request data for employee from in the API service. And as you can see in the callbacks of that function, we are updating that employees object, and in that variable we are setting the all the data which are fetching from API. But as you can see here in the line number 16, we are updating the binding once the data got retrieves from API. Then this did set calls and that binding will call. So what actually this binding is, it is a connection between view controller and your view model, and how it will update your view, that is the basic purpose, and that is the basic variable which is using to update the view. And once the data is completely fetched, it calls view, it updates view through that binding, and we are using that binding in our view controller. Like here we are updating the initializing the view model, and after that here we have our that binding variable. So once your data will be fetched here, it will update your that binding, and this will call in the your view controller. And what we are doing in the controller, it is asynchronously updating your table view listing. And in the table view listing, in the number of rows, we are using view model. We have not used any single array or something like that in our view controller. So all the logics, all the service calling is in the view model. So basically view controller, your view controller is only to display the data which is fetching from view model and updating it in the view model. So in the view model we have empty data, which you are already familiar. In that the hierarchy of and sub arrays of the data, and after that we are updating our table view cells according to the models, according to the data which we have fetched from our API. So let's have a run on it, and let's take a look what this is running. So basically MVVM is really simple, easy to use, and really helpful for reusability. So I must say that you should start using MVVM. Although if you don't have large project, then it is not uh, recommended for MVVM. For small projects MVC is best, but for a large products MVVM is really good. So here we have the result of the API which we called through MVVM. So as you can see in the view controller, we didn't call any request, we didn't take any array or any type of variable, only fetch data and update the table view. Although it is not simple enough, you can also make more simplicize it. Like you can take another class table view source and data source, so you can set that table view data source in that class. So that's further its classes. But for now, in the basics, I hope you will get idea that what we are doing. Actually, let's have a look and review the what we have learned today. So we have come to our view controller, we initialize our view model and call that binding. And in that binding, it is basically before that binding, we have initialized that class, so it will call that init, and in that init class API call, and in the API the data will be update and the binding will be called. So in the next line we have received the data and update the table view, and in the table view data sources we have updated the delegate functions of table view. So here is the simplest way of MVVM. I hope you will understand, and I hope you will enjoy the video. And if you like that, must comment and share your thoughts and your learnings, and whatever you need to know about further, you can ask freely anytime from us. So I hope you will like that. Thank you so much.